Hello, welcome to the Million Cups podcast today, built by the community for the community. So excited today to introduce Lisa Lechowicz. She is the owner and CEO of HDM. Lisa, you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today, Toni, and to talk with you. HDM is going into our 30th year in business, and I feel like this is an opportunity for me to begin our year of gratitude and reflection upon those 30 years. So thank you for hosting this event. I started the company after a career at Mutual of Omaha. I had worked for Mutual for 15 years.
Wow.
And on the board of the work group for electronic data interchange, which I was fortunate to be Mutual's representative, I saw how EDI would change healthcare. EDI is electronic data interchange. And so with that, I saw the vision of how small to mid-sized providers and insurance companies would have a difficult time doing the technology and the process changes that would be necessary to implement EDI. And saw a business opportunity in that. I actually created a business plan, which I took to the Mutual board to try, because I was Senior Vice President of Claims and Customer Service at the time, and I was Mutual's EDI Director. So I felt like we could spin off my division of Claims and Customer Service and make it a back room to other insurance companies to help them implement the EDI vision for the industry. But at that time, Mutual was investing in PPOs and HMOs around the country, and so that they didn't feel they could make an investment in another business. And so with that, and because of other issues and changes going on at Mutual, I decided to leave and start HDM Corp.
Awesome. Well, that leads me to my next question. It sounds like Mutual and kind of that industry may have sparked some of your inspiration, but where did it start? Let's go back 30 years back. Where did it start?
Thank you. Yeah, so I believe entrepreneurial spirit's in my blood and in my genes. My grandfather, my paternal grandfather, all my grandparents immigrated from Poland right after World War I. And my paternal grandfather started his own business when he came to Chicago called the People's Ice Company. In my office, I have a picture of him with his horse and wagon delivering ice, and he had big tongs that he would use to deliver the ice to the people on the North Shore of Chicago. And then my dad also, when he came back from World War II, he was in the Navy, in the Pacific arena there. And when he came back, he started a company called Dependable Core Company in Chicago, which made cores basically for foundries and for so like a core is like your faucet. He make a core to make the inside of the faucet. So the molten metal is poured around the core, and then the sand core is taken out to make the hole in the faucet. So
bloodline.
That's what he did. So
everyone before you.
When I started, when I graduated from high school, I didn't go to college right away. I thought I could just enter a corporation and have a job and work my way up the ladder. Well, at some point I decided to go to college, and then I always said to myself, I'm not going to own my own business, because I saw how hard my dad worked and all the pressure to make payroll and all of those things that an individual entrepreneur deals with. And I said, that's not for me. I'm going to get a degree now, and I'm just going to go get some cushy corporate job. But it turns out that I think when entrepreneur spirit's in your blood, you work that hard anyway, no matter who you're working for. And so then you get to the point where it's like, I might as well find the niche and do it for myself.
Absolutely. Incredible. It sounds like you do have a very good insight on, what it takes and, work-life balance. Has there ever been a time in the last 30 years that you said, I'm done, gigs up?
Well, I don't know that I ever said I'm done, because I'm not a quitter. Persistence pays, but there's a lot of dark moments, right? When you're not only the business side, but life events as well. And it's hard to keep those separated when you're owning your own business, I think. Even more difficult than when you have a job, And there is no such thing as family leave for the owner of a business, So you've got to keep all those balls in the air. So probably the biggest moment for me, though, was the pandemic.
Okay.
HDM always had home workers, so it wasn't that we didn't know how to do work from home, and we were geared up to do that from day one, so that wasn't an issue. But just all of the things that were going on, and of course healthcare came to kind of a screeching halt. I mean, people were not going to the doctor, so there weren't the volume of claims and so forth.
Sure.
We lost a $3 million government contract overnight.
Oh, wow.
So that was a tough blow.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I said, yeah, do I want to lift this up again?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Wonderful.
but of course I did.
Yeah. Well, what is one of the most powerful lessons that you've learned over your 30 years?
I think the most powerful lesson and the hardest lesson for me is to focus.
Okay.
You know, you have to have clarity and know what it is you want to do so clearly.
Sure.
I mean, the more clear you can be on what you want, I think the better, but then you have to focus. And I'm like a dog with a bone, so if a new opportunity comes in front of me, I want to chase that because it looks more, the shiny object is over there.
Sure.
So that's, I think the hardest lesson is to stay focused, just go ahead and see it, observe it for a moment, come back to what you're doing.
Perfect. So can you share a time that you've really realized the impact that you are having in what you do every day?
Well, there's been a couple moments that have been really exciting, and I feel like this next year, as we go into our year of gratitude and reflection, will be an opportunity to really savor some of those moments.
Sure.
You know? But for one of them was, one of our employees, we had offered a college degree. We would pay for their schooling.
For sure.
At one point in time, and he came back. You know, he had left and gone onto a different position at a different company, but he came back and told me and had lunch with me and told me what it meant to him to have that opportunity and everything that HDM. So that was really great.
Yeah.
I called the Mecca here at CHI Center and was needing to talk to the finance area. And the gal there, she goes, I don't know if you remember me, but I used to be a home worker for HDM back in the day.
Wow.
And several women have come up to me and say, we did homework for you.
Sure.
And we were able to raise our children, make money on the side. I mean, and they were very grateful. And she actually went to school and got a degree in accounting.
Oh, wow.
And now is working in that field. So, you know, those are the kinds of things that really make you say, you know, maybe I did make a difference.
Absolutely. I love that. Is there anything exciting on the works coming up for HDM?
Well, we are actually focused on a new niche in home health care right now.
Okay.
And it's a very growing area because many home health care agencies only took private pay patients for a time. But now, of course, more company insurances are covering home health. And you've got Medicaid covering home health and VA and so forth.
Yeah.
So they need that expertise in third-party billing. So we find that as a very exciting niche. And I love working with home health care agencies because their mission is really to allow people to stay at home while they age. And I mean, like, I'll probably be their customer in another few years, you know.
Sure.
So I can really relate to that mission, and I love the work they do.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. So the older I get, the more I realize the only thing that stays the same is change. Over the years, what are some ways that you've changed your leadership skills, leadership?
Well, I of course, going from a corporate position as a leader is different than being an entrepreneur in my mind. A lot of the skills are transferable, of course, but to me, as a leader, it's obviously leadership is influencing people to meet a goal in my mind. And so part of it is you have to be able to relate to people. I think self-awareness is so important, and then awareness of your people's skills and strengths as well.
Sure.
You know, and so as I've grown as a leader, I've worked to help develop that in both myself and in the staff.
Yeah.
So we all can understand and then bring the team together to understand how we can work together more effectively. I think in the beginning I was very much of, if it's to be, it's up to me, and let's get it done. And we'll
Yeah.
And now I'm much more collaborative.
Okay.
And, not necessarily the only one, not having to have the answer, but more asking the right question to stimulate the conversation.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we are so excited to have you joining the group. This is a group of like-minded people, and just having the resources to help each other and, keep rowing our boats along. As you're celebrating your 30 years, is there I heard home health. Is there any other type of businesses or industries, any other places that, would be beneficial for your business?
Well, we do medical billing and healthcare transaction processing, which we can do medical billing for any provider of healthcare.
Okay.
But it's a very specialized field for each kind of specialty.
Okay.
There's different coding sets and so forth. And so, I love to help people though. One of my strengths, because I did work on at an insurance company.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with how they operate as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm happy to help people just like, I'll call and see what I can find out about why this claim didn't pay or what, just to help people out. And even individuals sometimes will say, my claim didn't pay, I don't know what to do.
Sure.
And so we help them.
Yeah, it's a resource.
Just to do the right thing
for
the right reasons. That's what we want to do.
Yes.
And I'd say one of the biggest regrets is that I was part of the work group for electronic data interchange, which created the early vision for EDI in healthcare. But during the pandemic, I had to kind of go from 30,000 feet down to 10,000 feet or even ground level in order to get everything done, because it was just a tough time. And so I was back to calling payers and finding out what's going on, why didn't, And of course, there were all kinds of different challenges during the pandemic too. But, I think what's kind of a regret to me is that the vision we had for EDI in healthcare after 30 years is still not there.
Yeah.
There's so much still left to do, And HDM's mission has been to find a better way to process healthcare transactions, and I believe we've done that. We do that with every claim we handle.
Yeah.
But at a macro level, I feel like maybe I need to get back into the industry groups to kind of reset the vision.
Sure.
Because we've kind of gone off in a whole different direction. That really isn't helpful to the provider.
Sure.
Creates a whole lot more administrative nightmare. Awesome. And to the patient, of course.
Yeah. Well, we are so excited to have you. Like I said, this is a lot of new business owners, and just having a wealth of knowledge like yours, I'm sure that there's something that someone's going to pick up and just utilize.
Yeah,
so thanks.
I'm happy to help anybody. I feel like that's one of the reasons I was called here, is to provide that expertise or whatever I can do to help other entrepreneurs succeed.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you.
All right.
Thank you for joining us and welcoming Lisa Lechowicz.
Thank you.